Nice to see you guys again, and welcome to the 17th episode of Shopify Kryptonite with Mikko and Teemu. We're going to be talking about inventories and inventory management inside the Shopify ecosystem today. Mikko's going to shoot some difficult questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer them and then give you some tips on good inventory management. But before we go into the actual topic, Mikko, good to see you. Welcome to the other episode.
Likewise, pleasure to be here.
Any tips of the week for week 17 for our viewers?
Absolutely. One really good one is that our merchants are asking that, hey, have you noticed this one beautiful Shopify store? What theme does it have? What apps does it have? Do you have any other information? So I'm not a coder, but I would like to find out more about the store. What's the structure? What's behind the curtains? How to know it? So my recommendation would be to open your Chrome browser, install one app there or an add-on called Shopify Inspector by Koala Apps. So with that one, it will actually show you what is the theme being used in that Shopify store, a little bit about the apps and also products. So very easy, helpful way to find out what's behind that Shopify store. So that makes it easier to understand that, how that shop has been built.
I think it's always a good idea to follow examples. You don't have to create everything from the scratch. You can use already things that are existing, and then as you can imagine, in the Shopify ecosystem, it's actually pretty hard to create completely something unique. In some cases, you can do it, but at least if you know that somebody's doing well, why not to take some good points out of those solutions and implement them into your own shop as well?
Definitely. So hard recommending this to everyone, and then if you need any help with the themes and everything, you know whom to contact.
Absolutely. About the inventory management, you're working hands-on with the customers, Mikko. So what kind of questions or topics usually come up regarding the inventory things in Shopify?
This is really good because the actual value and the issues usually come from the inventory and your warehouse. So one basic question I've been asked that how do I know my value? What's the value of my current stock? How much should I order products? What kind of products should I order? What to do with the whole warehouse, especially when you are growing. So how to estimate demand. But first of all, do we have any solutions just to understand that what's going on with my stock? I see quite many clients that are fairly successful, but their issue is that they don't use any software, anything to manage that as such. They are just like running across the warehouse and trying to understand that what do I have in stock? How much money do I have there? So how can you help them?
So I'm guessing these are customers who don't have a ERP system
Right.
in use.
Smaller clients, D2C brands,
Yeah,
roughly selling 500,000 to maybe a couple of millions.
we have a few solutions. First, I think an ERP system is absolutely not a must if you don't have kind of needs for the production or the finances. So you can actually grow your business to be fairly big without having the absolute need to have an ERP system. Shopify covers the basic needs regarding the inventory management itself. So you can track the inventories per product or per variant, and then you can choose in the settings that do you allow to oversell the items. So if you know that you can refill quickly, or you are actually selling items that you manufacture per order, then you can basically switch the order tracking off from the Shopify product settings.
Right.
Uh, I think it was sometime last year when we finally got the well-needed purchase value or the purchase price, the cost price field for the product information. So we can now we can submit and save the information regarding purchase prices on product or even variation level, which means that we should be able to actually see the inventory value with purchase prices real quickly. Until now, I have to admit that at least I haven't seen a kind of a easy view in the Shopify report where I can check the inventory value at any given point, which is basically the number of variations, the cost price. You can get that in a few different reports out of the report sections, basically the inventory report and then the product information report that has the purchase price, and you have to combine those two, so it's a bit tricky. But the thing we're going to be talking about today a bit more would be one of my recommendations to inventory management. And the good news is that it's a free software. So late last year, Shopify they acquired a company called, I don't actually remember the name of the company, but they acquired a software called the Stocky. Stocky is a pretty decent software to manage the inventories. So, I can give you a quick rundown. So basically, you're going to get a lot of things, but the main thing would be the dashboard. So when you install and configure the Stocky application, you're going to get a dashboard view where you have the inventory value, with the cost prices or with the retail prices. So you can actually kind of compare that if it goes really well, you have kind of sales value of goods can be 100K, and then you have the cost price of goods at the moment is like 30K, which would be ideal. If you're 50 and 50, then it's going to be tricky to do profitable sales. But anyway, that's kind of a easy added value for all of the merchants right there. It's a free software for Shopify merchants using a $79 plan or higher, so you can just use it for free. When you install the app, it's gonna, depending on the amount of data you have in the Shopify shop, it's gonna take anywhere from a couple hours to a few days that it's kind of getting all the data. And then you have basically the system that you can run.
Sounds very good. And what about like the first steps? Do you feel that that's something that a merchant can just install themselves, or should they hire some expert to help out with that? What's been our take?
That's a really good question, and I would say that this really depends on the skill level you have as a merchant. If you are kind of comfortable of using ABC analysis, if you are comfortable of making purchase orders, then I think Stocky is quite easy to use, and then you will kind of get some value out of the system. If you never ever done purchase orders, if you don't know what an ABC analysis is, then I would happily suggest to talk with the agency that knows kind of the ins and outs, or at least the basics of good inventory management.
Right, totally. So rather safe than sorry. What kind of feedback
Absolutely.
have you then received when you have done these projects? What are the clients feeling about this? Does this help? What kind of responses have we then got?
It does, and I need to point out that Stocky isn't the only option there. There's inventory planner. There's a few other options as well. But Stocky being a free option, I'm kind of happy to recommend it to a lot of the merchants. At least they can test it out. And I would say that the feedback is coming from two different directions. You can save a hell of a lot of time with the purchase orders. So if you haven't kind of had a software where you do the purchase orders, let's imagine that I'm running a shop where I'm getting products from 25 different vendors, and I have the vendor specific information in Shopify and Stocky. What what Stocky actually does is that it's forecasting the need for kind of additional purchase orders based on the sales that you're getting. So a good example would be that I have a vendor, maybe a wholesale company that I'm getting my Nike and Adidas shoes from, and I know that I'm out of stock with 2 pairs of Nike running shoes, but I want to kind of order more from the same vendor because I'm making the purchase orders. So you can just go into Stocky. You can open up basically a purchase order suggestion based per vendor. So it's going to list out all the products or all the variations that Stocky thinks that it would be a good idea to order at the same time. So you're going to get those items that are kind of soon to be kind of running out from that vendor, and not only the items that are out of stock. So it has intelligence behind the system. And this would be kind of the first step that you can do with Stocky, making sure that the items you're going to replenish are the items that you're going to be, well, either you already sold out or you're going to be selling out soon. And behind the vendor information, there's also the lead time. So you can kind of submit average lead time that it's going to take from the vendor to supply those items that you're going to purchase order. So they kind of knows then the calculation and the mathematics behind the purchase order kind of forecasting. And that would be the first step that I would probably go. And then that's kind of one of the first steps that our customers have been doing.
Sounds awesome. So this is definitely something that I wasn't too afraid of trying, but now I feel that we can help this. For many of our clients, they would be definitely willing to give this a go. But then maybe like another question, it's sort of like related to this. So this sounds amazing, fairly easy to use, definitely like you will understand more about your warehouse, your stock, how to plan things. What about then like from marketing perspective, like campaigning, running campaigns? How does Stocky help there? So does it actually help me if I know that what items are the hot ones and what's actually happening at my warehouse?
Well, you can, from the campaigns, you can kind of have a look on the previous year's data and kind of the sales per campaign. As always in kind of the forecasting softwares that are out there, the merchant kind of has to have the final knowledge and the power to actually kind of know when these softwares are doing something that they shouldn't. So if I'm kind of getting a huge spike in sales because I've lowered the price to half on these Nike pairs and it's kind of increasing the sales, you have to be kind of the one that knows that, okay, it's going to be twisting the data for the purchase orders. And then you need to kind of know to read the reports correctly. But then because Stocky has the purchase prices for the product as well, what I would absolutely recommend to do would be to kind of have a look on the ABC analysis. So merchants that have hundreds or thousands of products almost always are in a situation where 20% of all the products are kind of generating 80% of the sales or even profits. And you're gonna when you start using Stocky and then it's gonna get the Shopify data that you already have in place, it's gonna create the ABC analysis instantly. It's dynamic. So you're gonna kind of you're gonna see the list of the category A products all the time. And the category A here is the category that you should be always having in stock. Those are the products that are kind of bringing most of the sales, most of the profit all the time. B is somewhere in between, and C is kind of the category that those products are nice to have. They maybe have some strategic value to the merchant. They might be bringing some SEO traffic, but they're not actually bringing the sales or the profits. So it's not kind of important to have those huge amount of products in stock all the time, or those might be even products that you don't sell at all, and then you should be kind of getting rid of those products.
Awesome, that's very interesting, Teemu. Any final words before we end the episode? Anything you still want to add?
Well, I think the only thing that Stocky is missing at the moment, or a couple of things, but one that would kind of benefit us all is that at least I haven't seen an update where you can add multiple stores to Stocky. So at the moment, Stocky is only useful in cases where you are running one single shop and you're getting all the data from one shop.
Right.
And as you know, as we know, a lot of our bigger merchants or growing merchants are using localized shops for different markets.
Mm.
And it would be really good that we could kind of combine the data from all of those shops to one single Stocky view and didn't have to kind of operate with separate Stockies. But hopefully it's going to be updated soon, I don't know. But with that update, I would think that Stocky will bring tons of additional value, especially as a free software. So give it a go. Give us some feedback. What do you think? And it's going to be low risk test for you.
Sounds awesome. Thank you, Tim, for your time. What will happen next week?
We'll see. I think we're going to be talking about in-depth growth hacking and analytics tools, maybe how you can segment the customers. We'll see.
Sounds very
Thank you.
good. Take care. Bye bye.